In this section, we're going to learn about the respiratory surface. So, let's discuss about the respiratory surface and some of its characteristics. The first characteristic of the respiratory surface is that it has to be thin. So it shouldn't be thick, it has to be thin. Then only the gaseous exchange can take place. Also, it has to be moist. So it has to be moist. That means it should consist of water, some slightly wet. It needs to be slightly wet, the respiratory surface. Also, it has to be highly vascular. Vascular is the word that we use, that is something related to the blood vessels or the blood supply. So near the respiratory surface there has to be a lot of blood vessels or blood supply has to be there. That's why we say that it has to be highly vascular. Also, the respiratory surface should have respiratory pigments. So have respiratory pigments. So the respiratory surface or near the respiratory surface there has to be some pigments which help in the process of respiration. So we're going to talk about this respiratory pigments later in this video. So this is one of the characteristic that the respiratory surface should have or should possess. Also, this respiratory surface should be of large surface area. Large surface area. So these are some characteristics of the respiratory surface. So here we have told that they have to be thin. If it's thin, then only the gaseous exchange can take place. It's easier for the respiratory gases to do the process of respiration. They have to be moist, they have to be slightly wet, highly vascular, they should have respiratory pigments. Also, they should have large surface area. So these are some characteristics of the respiratory surface. Respiratory surface is any surface where the respiration process is taking place or the gaseous exchange is taking place. Respiratory gaseous exchange is taking place. So these are some characteristics that we need to know about respiratory surface. Now let's come to respiratory pigments. So here we told that respiratory surface should have some respiratory pigments. So we are going to discuss about these in detail now. The first respiratory pigment we are going to talk about is the basic one, that is hemoglobin. We all know what is hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is a red color pigment which is present in the blood, or in the, if you have to be specific, in the erythrocytes or the blood cells, red blood cells. So that is hemoglobin. This is an iron containing pigment. So Fe, that is iron containing red color pigment. Red color pigment. And so this is about hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is present in the blood or in the red blood cells, and this is an iron containing, this is a very important one, it is made up of iron which is a red color pigment. So as the name suggests here, hemoglobin. So here we can write it like this, hemoglobin. So now hemo means something related to iron. Globin is a protein. So that's how the name comes. That's how hemoglobin gets its name. Hemo means iron, globin is the protein which is present. And hemoglobin is an iron containing red color pigment. This is also a respiratory pigment. The next respiratory pigment that we are going to discuss is hemerythrin. Hemerythrin. this is a respiratory pigment which is found in annelids. So annelids, we have discussed about annelids in the Animal Kingdom chapter. Annelids are the segmented worms, so they possess metameric segmentation. Examples of annelids are earthworms, leeches, and nereis, and all of those organisms. Those annelids have respiratory pigment. The respiratory pigment name is hemoerythrin. Next, let's take one more. That is hemocyanin. Hemocyanin. This is also a very important respiratory pigment. This is a copper containing pigment. So copper is Cu, copper containing pigment, and the color of this pigment is blue. So it's a copper containing blue color pigment. And where is it found? So, and it is found in mollusks. So mollusks are the animals which are soft bodied animals. So mollusks and arthropods. So mollusks include snails and octopus, those kind of organisms which are soft bodied animals. Also it includes gastropods like snails, and they have a shell. So in mollusks, hemocyanin, this pigment is present, that is copper containing pigment. Also in case of arthropods are the animals which have jointed appendages, as the name suggests here, and this includes insects and scorpions, like all of those millipedes, centipedes, insects, Ornithophora, those kind of organisms arthropods include. And Arthropoda is the largest phylum in Animal Kingdom. In that, Arthropoda mainly consists of insects. So this is about hemocyanin. The next pigment that we are going to talk about is called echinochrome. As the name suggests here, echinochrome is found in the echinoderms. So found in echinoderms. Echinoderms are the animals which have spiny skin. So here also the name suggests that these are spiny skin animals. Also, this echinochrome is an iron containing pigment like hemoglobin. Iron containing pigment, Fe. So this is how we represent iron. So it's an iron containing pigment, and it is present in echinoderms. So found in echinoderms. Examples of echinoderms include starfish, sea urchin, sea cucumber, those kind of organisms which have spiny skin. Also, we can take one more example here. So that is vanadium. Vanadium is found in coelomic fluid in protochordates. So found in coelomic fluid in case of the animals which are called protochordates. So in coelomic fluid, all the materials and all the substances they transport, and this vanadium is found in these. This is a pigment. It is found in coelomic fluid. Actually, this is a protein, and it is present in protochordates. Protochordates are the primitive chordates. As the name suggests here, proto means primitive, chordates means chordates. So it is present in primitive chordates or hemichordates. Hemichordates include Balanoglossus, Saccoglossus, those kind of organisms. And as the name suggests here, this pigment has the vanadium, which is an element in the periodic table. So these are the 5 respiratory pigments, important ones, that is hemoglobin, Fe, iron containing red color pigment, Hemo means iron, globin is a protein. Hemerythrin, this is found in annelids like earthworms. Hemocyanin, which is a copper containing pigment and it's blue in color. So blue, and it is found in mollusks and arthropods. Echinochrome, which is found in echinoderms and it's an iron containing pigment, and vanadium, which is found in the coelomic fluid in the protochordates. So this is about the respiratory pigment. So we have learnt about the characteristics of respiratory surface and the respiratory pigments, and we have taken a look at some examples as well where it is found and all of those things. Now we are going to take up the respiratory organs. So now we are going to take up the respiratory organs, or the organs which help in respiration. This topic is also very important for us to learn, the organs which help in respiration. The first organ that we are going to take up is not exactly an organ, or if we can call it as a sense organ. It is skin. Respiration can also take place through skin, and the type of respiration which takes place through skin is called as cutaneous respiration. Cutaneous respiration. This is a very important one that we need to memorize. So, cutaneous respiration is a type of respiration where respiration takes place through skin. We can take examples here. That is earthworms, like Ferretima, lumbricus, all those earthworms. Earthworm come under the phylum Annelida. Also, we can take frogs. So that's why these skin of these organisms like earthworms and frogs is a bit moist. It's slimy. So when we talked about the characteristics of respiratory surface, there we have understood that the skin has to be thin and moist. So that's what earthworms and frog skin possess. So earthworm and frogs both have a bit slimy, a bit moist and slightly wet skin, because skin is the respiratory surface where this respiration is taking place. That respiration is cutaneous respiration. We can take one more respiratory organ, that is tracheal tubes or tracheae. Tracheae or tracheal tubes. The type of respiration which takes place by tracheae is called as tracheal respiration. Tracheal respiration. We can take examples here, like insects. Insects come under the phylum Arthropoda, that is Insecta. The class is Insecta. Insects include mostly cockroaches, butterflies and houseflies, mosquitoes and all of those insects. These insects possess tracheae or tracheal tubes. So we can write tracheal tubes. So they possess spiracles on the surface and inside the tracheal tubes goes, and that is how the system is there in case of the respiratory system is there in case of insects. And the type of respiration is called tracheal respiration. Next, we can take one more respiratory organ, that is gills. We all are familiar with the term gills. Gills are the respiratory organs in case of fishes. So, the type of respiration which takes place through gills is called branchial one. Branchial respiration. Okay, so this type of respiration which takes place through gills is called branchial respiration. And examples just now we have mentioned, like fish, bony fishes, cartilaginous fishes, etc. Also we can take one more, that is prawns and fish. These are some examples of the organisms where there is branchial respiration or the respiration through gills. We can take one more, that is lungs. You all are familiar with lungs as well. And the type of respiration that takes place through lungs is called pulmonary respiration. Pulmonary respiration. So wherever we hear the word pulmonary, that is something related to lungs. So pulmonologist is the specialist or the doctor who treats the lung disorders. So that's how the name comes. Pulmonary or pulmonary means something related to lungs. So here also the respiration which takes place through lungs is called pulmonary respiration. Examples like humans, or we can write higher vertebrates. Higher vertebrates include these amphibians, reptiles, aves or birds, and mammals. So these are higher vertebrates. In that humans also come under. Humans come under mammals. And in humans we have lungs. So the type of respiration which takes place in humans is called pulmonary respiration. We can take one more respiratory organ, that is book lungs. So here also the book lungs name, this term gets its name because the arrangement of these respiratory organ is in such a way that it represents like a closed pages of a book. So this somewhat looks like that, closed pages of a book. So the respiratory organ is book lungs, and book lungs can be found in scorpions and spiders. We can take one more, that is book gills. So book lungs and book gills are different. Here book lungs and this is book gills. Here we can take examples like aquatic arachnids. Aquatic arachnids like limulus. Arachnids means the class Arachnida, which comes under phylum Arthropoda. So here insects or Insecta, class Insecta, they show tracheal respiration or have tracheae or tracheal tubes as their respiratory organ. Here aquatic arachnids, class Arachnida, they have book gills as their respiratory organ. Here example we can take as limulus, and limulus is called as king crab, and this organism is considered as a living fossil. So we know what is living fossil. It is any organism which possesses the characteristics of the extinct organisms. So some of the relatives of this organism limulus may have, the relatives may have been extinct as well. So that is living fossil. We can find the traces of this organism from the history. So that is book gills. We can take the last organ, or this is not exactly an organ but a modification, that is pulmonary sac. Pulmonary sac. So pulmonary sac is basically the modification, or it's modified mantle cavity. So we know what is mantle cavity. Mantle cavity is basically the space between the hump and the mantle. So, and this pulmonary sac, this kind of respiratory surface is found in mollusks. Mollusks, we have learned about it. Mollusks are soft-bodied animals, include gastropods, snails, octopus, those kind of organisms. And the respiratory organ is pulmonary sac, and it's basically a modification, and it's a modification of mantle cavity. Examples are mollusks. So this is about respiratory or respiratory organs. Here we have taken a look at all the respiratory organs, that is skin, trachea, gills, lungs, book gills, and pulmonary sac. And we have taken a look at some of the examples as well, and the term that we give to the type of respiration. So these are important ones. These are the other respiratory organs that we talk of when we talk about the main ones. So these are the main ones: skin, trachea, gills, and lungs. Then after that we talk about these ones. But here we need to learn that cutaneous respiration is a type of respiration which takes place through skin. Tracheal respiration is a type of respiration which takes place through the tracheal tubes or the spiracles from the openings on the skin surface. Bronchial respiration, this takes place through gills. Pulmonary respiration takes place through lungs. And here also we have taken a look at book lungs, book gills, and pulmonary sac. Examples as well. So here we can write these are aquatic arachnids in case of limulus. So this is all about respiratory organs and the type of respiration they are called, and also some of its examples. So in this section we have learnt about the characteristics of the respiratory surface, that is, they have to be thin, moist or slightly wet, they have to be vascular, there has to be a lot of blood supply, also they should have respiratory pigments, and there has to be a large surface area. Then only this gaseous exchange can take place. Also we have taken a look at respiratory pigments like hemoglobin, hemoerythrin, hemocyanin, echinochrome, and vanadium. So the most important one is hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is an iron containing red color pigment. Also we have taken a look at some more pigments, respiratory pigments especially, and we have taken a look at some of the respiratory organs, some important ones, and their type of respiration, and the examples of some of the organs which possess these kind of respiratory organs. So this is all about characteristics of respiratory surface, respiratory pigments, and respiratory organs.